Hey everybody, I'm just going to demo again quick the PhET lab that we started today. So this is going to primarily talk about parts 1 and 2. So again, we'll do the rest later on. But obviously to first get to it, you're going to go to the GB PhET lab forces in motion. And then there's two documents you can open up. The first one being the Google Doc. This is where you're going to record your lab data. And then there's also the PhET lab located here too. So you want to make sure you open up both of those because you will obviously need both to do the assignment. Looking first at the lab document at the very top, there is another link to the lab. So this is another location where you can go to the PhET lab, clicking there. This top section here is just some review on Newton's first and second law, and then a definition of acceleration. So you will likely need this later on. So keep that in mind as you go through. So once you've got the lab opened up, it has kind of the instructions here where you're going to click on the motion option. So I'll show that here. So there's 4 different pieces here, and you're going to click on motion, the little guy pushing the little girl on the skateboard. You'll click there. And then if we look back at some of the other instructions, we want to make sure that the values, masses, and speed are all checked. And then we're going to use the arrows at the bottom to slowly increase the amount of force applied to the box. So with that, we want to have all these things checked because this is going to help us collect our data. And then the buttons down here, if you click the double arrows, that's going to increase it by about 50 each time you click it. You can also click it in the opposite direction to reduce the force. Unfortunately, once you've started it, it will continue to go unless you go into the negative, and that is how you would attempt to stop this piece from moving. If you want to restart, there's that orange button over there, which will reset everything, which means you do have to re-click. If you just do the single arrow, that will increase it by 1 Newton. This will help you as you go through some of those questions. So keep that in mind. There may be a point where you want to jump by 50, but most of the time you probably are just going to need the 1 arrow. There are some questions asking where you add weight to this or add different things. So what you would do is just click on whatever you want to add. So in this case, the guy. So he then would sit on top. You can add up to 3 things. So we have the box, this guy, and then the garbage can. So again, you'll see that in the lab as you go. So again, if you want to restart, you just click that orange button. So again, that's primarily how you'll use this first section. There are 5 questions to answer to start. And then there is going to be a little box here that you're going to complete as well. So we can then go through that. And then for part 2, this is the net force. So we've been in the motion. Now we're going to move over to net force. And this one is going to relate to moving these little guys at different points throughout kind of this rope. And then you'll hit go. That will then kind of show the force and how it adds up. So you also want to make sure you click all of these boxes because, again, it will give you some of that vital information for the lab document. So there are, I think, 4 tasks that the lab asks you to complete. So again, this first example gives you all the data, the predicted movement, actual movement, and then the sum force. So one last thing, the sum force is up here at the very top as long as you've clicked that. So this sum force as an example is 0. If I added somebody to this side, now the sum force is 50 Newton to the right. So again, if you have any additional questions, make sure you reach out. Good luck.